It's Thursday here on iCritique, and we are on episode number 12. So we are moving right along pretty much since the start of the year. I've been doing these. If you don't know what these are, I critique your images. So it's just another photographer's mindset who's in the industry trying to help you out, give you critique. Once again, this is just my opinions. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just something that I like to do, and it's been helping a lot of people. So I've gotten good reaction from this. So thank you for everyone who is sending your images. And if you want to send them to me, send me a Flickr set of like 5 of your images, 5 or 6 of your images, and send them to eric@ericrossi.com, and you can be featured on a upcoming episode. So right now I have a email that was sent a little while ago, but it is from a long-time viewer, and it's Leroy. So what's up, Leroy? I decided to go back. I saw that your photos were here, and I really wanted to jump into them because, as I said, I know I know you watch a lot, and I know that you that you're always looking for advice or something like that. So you sent me 2 sets, and they're once again pretty short. Thank you for giving me your permission to use them on YouTube for critique. So if you guys are sending an email, sending me a link, please say that as well. Sorry, we have 6 photos. So I'm more of a people person. So let's start with the model set. So we have 4 in this one. So let's make these full screen. So you send me a nice Flickr link. From what I believe, you are using the Nikon D5100. Let's see if it tells me what lenses you're using, because I'm not exactly sure, and of course it's not going to tell me. No. So, alright, no lenses. That's fine. Okay, so whatever, we'll go with that. So, let's see right here. Okay, there's not a lot of information, so I'll just go on what it looks here. Alright, so we have a nice black and white. It seems like you like that style, Leroy, and it works fine. I see you going for more of a high key look, I think, meaning that the background should be more white and it should just stand out a little more. So in my opinion, if you're going for something like this, it's not bad, but if you're going for something really high key, really turn up your strobes or whatever you're using to light the background and blast them up a little more. So put them up another 2 stops and get that separation. Just make sure it doesn't lose the contrast, especially around here. I mean, I'm not saying it's not bad, but it could be brightened up a little more to really create that separation, give you that high key look. So just starting off, the focus is pretty much spot on. She might be a little too, I'm just trying to think of the composition, maybe a little too central for me. Maybe she's a little tilted to the left side of the screen over this way. So maybe, I guess, for something like this, maybe tighten it up just a little more, just crop it up just a little bit, maybe up here more. But once again, that's more my style. I like to throw someone more to, a side of the screen near a rule of third, but it's not that bad. I can see you have one light coming from this way, so I'm guessing if it's softbox blasting in, that's fine. I just feel that, let me just make sure this is bright. I feel like that she should be brighter. She's kind of like too dark. So maybe drop the blacks a little bit, up the exposure a little bit, and just make her pop a little bit, and it would stand out, and I think it would be a much stronger image. And with something like this, unless the ring is like very, very relevant to something, it can detract. So I'm just keeping that in mind. It doesn't bother me 100%, but someone could be like, oh, look, there's a ring right there. It's kind of detracting. Yeah, so I guess just look for something like that. In regards to expression, it's not that bad. The eyes can be a little more engaging, so something more simple as kind of, if you ever heard of Peter Hurley's squinch, or it's just kind of like squinting, just to really engage and do a little more. The mouth isn't bad. I like that the lips aren't touching. It's not just something like, it's something a little more. So not bad, but I feel like it could be improved just a little bit. Compositionally, maybe a little tighter. The background just a little brighter. And just overall, the skin, it's just a little under, and maybe it's because you took the blacks up just a little bit. So let's go to the next one. All right, so once again, I think this is called the 5100. I'm pretty sure. So let's just go right into this. Maybe it's just a little too split lighting for me, in my opinion, because the way it's lit, it's kind of up a little bit, and that's where you kind of see the shadow over here. So it's coming from the side, as you see kind of from the catch light, it's coming up this way. If you're going for split lighting, take it to the one complete side. So instead of having it down here, so like right here on the person, come up and actually do it from the side if you're trying to go for some split. A hat really wouldn't work well for split lighting 100%. So just because it really detracts from it, and you're not going to get kind of what you're going for. So I would watch that because it is a little too dark on this side, and the split isn't fully split as well. As you see, it's kind of on the other side of the mouth right here, and you're getting a little bit of this highlight right here, so that doesn't work 100%. Also, compositionally, well, her shoulder's kind of blown out here too, so kind of watch that, but that's because of where you had the light, so keep that in mind. But watch out for, once again, I know it's small, it's a pet peeve thing, but watch out for cutting off right here, move over a little bit more. I like to crop into the head, but maybe move to the side just a little more. Besides that, there's not much more I could say, but yeah, oh, and also, keep in mind when someone's wearing jewelry, Leroy, always watch for like clasps and like separations and gaps, especially in like these, I'm guessing like pearls or fake pearls. You see this little gap here. I mean, if you're doing an actual model shoot, people would go nuts if they saw like a little gap like that. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you watch out for the small details like that. We have a nice little rugged, I like this. I think this is one of my favorite ones so far. Once again, I think he's a little underexposed, so definitely raise the exposure a little bit on him. But the environment suits really well with the industrial kind of house look behind him to what he's wearing, so the outfit works well. But yeah, he needs a little more kick on his face. He's got good hair light from the diffused sky, so I'm guessing it was a like an overcast day or something like that outside. So I think that works really well. But yeah, throwing a little more light, but I mean, the focus is spot on. And once again, I think this is probably one of your strongest I've seen. Let's go to your last one. All right, so I'm just not feeling this one. Why? To me, it's a little flat, and it just, not to be, once again, just my opinion, it's just not appealing. The angle's not good. The shadow isn't good where you have the light. It's kind of topsy, so that's why you're seeing everything come down here. It doesn't always work well. It's just kind of like shooting light up. It gives that kind of horror effect. And yeah, it just, the background's kind of a little distracting because it goes to the black to the white. You're not exactly sure what to look at, and especially with the shadows in the eyes, especially where you have the light in here. So in here, it creates awkward dark shadows and doesn't work well for the eyes. And once again, there's not a lot going on in the face. It's just kind of, it's just kind of flashed on. There's not a lot of like extreme contrast to really kind of pull you in. So if it's something like this, and if something like that you're using for a portfolio or something like that, I wouldn't use it. But a shot like this is really, really strong. As I said, a little more, fill flash, and I think that this would be a very, very strong shot. So yeah, so let's go with that. And then you have a couple more of these. I'm not very much into equestrianism. Yes, I know equestrian. But yeah, so let's just jump into these real quick, and I'll kind of comment on this. So this would be good for kind of something like a story. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of a cool shot, I guess, if this rider or jockey that they could have a, on the wall. Yeah, I think it works pretty cool. Actually, this might be a very, very strong black and white shot, but for color, it's exposed well. Once again, being very, very nitpicky. Watch out, watch your composition a little bit. Could have moved over and make sure all over here was in frame, and maybe a little tighter up top, so it just brings it down a little more. So it might be a little too much headroom. This is a cool landscape shot, and the thing that I like about this, maybe it could be pumped up a little more contrast. It looks just a touch flat, but besides that, I like how the horizon isn't necessarily cutting down the middle. You have it up a little bit, and that's something a lot of people forget, and that's something a lot of people forget to do. So great, I like the reflections down here, but this could really use some boom. Pump up the contrast. Let's see what you're using. The 35 millimeter 1.8, yeah, it's good distance, fine. You're shooting this at f11, great. 1/50th, maybe you could have bumped the ISO more so you could use a more of a shutter speed, so that way you compensate for a shake. Not saying that there is shake, but you can go for something like this. But I feel like this could be a stronger shot if there was some more contrast and some more of the colors just pumped up just a little bit. So I had to cut. It was taking Flickr a long time to read this file. So okay, I love the action shot here. I like what you did. I like how you got lower on the ground, which works really well. Now, once again, I think more of composition, it could have been stronger. Now, one thing that I like that you included was the Stony Meadows. So that kind of tells a story of where they're at. But what I've liked would have seen was something more tighter. So something maybe here, you catch the horse's tail more, and it's just tighter. You see the action more. You're more in. You're closer. You see the Stony Meadows. Great. And in color works fine. It's very vibrant. And I think like that would be a very, very strong shot. Or just time it a little more. But I know it's kind of tough with the gallop coming in, especially after the jump. I think you probably caught as best peak action as you could there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so just a little tighter, and I think that this would be a very, very strong action shot and pretty good kind of, not an advertisement, but something that Stony Meadows could use just hanging up. This is their brand, and once again, I think it would fit very, very well. So Leroy, I think you had an awesome set of images, just some things that you could improve on, just I guess composition in a way, because let me bring up this set again. It's just some slight things. Once again, I think that's your strongest shot. Worked very, very well. Yeah, he's more central, but it's even and it works. But composition, as you see, you cut off a little bit of the hand, even though if it's slight, it's just something different. Once again, maybe just a little too central, kind of throw off to one side a little bit. And especially for something like this, this is just a nice moment, but for something like this, it's not that bad, maybe a little tighter, but for this, I think a, better composition would be spot on. So I hope I helped you, Leroy. Thanks again for always, commenting on the videos, responding, and sending in your images. I really appreciate that, and I hope I was able to help you out a little bit. So great work, and see, it's awesome what you could do with a Nikon D5100. You don't need to have a D4S, a Canon 1DX. You could do with what you have, and I think it would work really, really well. Now, one thing I was just thinking about, if you're using a 35mm on these images, I'm not sure what you're using on the model set, but if you're doing portraits and you like portraits, try to use something more. So your 35 is like a 50 because you're using a crop sensor camera. So you times it by 1.5 and you're about 50mm. I would say look more into maybe using a 50mm lens to give you that more of like a 75, 80mm look, something more portraity. Or look into an 85 1.8 lens or something like that. And I think it would benefit you later on, especially for some of the sports stuff. It gets you a little closer than your 35. So just a quick recommendation for you. So Leroy, thank you again for sending in your images. And if anyone else wants to send in your images, give me a Flickr set, give me permission, and send them to eric@ericrossi.com. Thank you for watching number 12 of this episode of iCritique.